Hi, everyone. Today we're going to read our first text that goes along with our second module, What a Story. So, our purpose for reading the text today is I will read to find out the different ways to tell a story. So, in your text, I'd like you to open up to page 86 and 87. And our focus today is going to be on informational texts. So, the author of our text is going to be trying to tell us information and teach us about the topic of telling a story. So, when an author is writing an informational text, they will often include text features. So, a common feature that we'll find in informational texts is an introduction, a preface, or a foreword. So, those all are written at the beginning of a text, and they give us background information about the topic or the subject that we're going to be learning about. We'll often find headings and subheadings. So those are there to tell us what topic each section of a text is all about. Sometimes we'll see different fonts that will help us be able to identify a topic or a heading a little bit more easily. So sometimes you'll see words that are written in bold or italics. Sometimes they're written in all capital letters. Sometimes they'll use different colors for the fonts, or sometimes they're just a little bit bigger to give us a good indication that we're going to be heading into a new subject. Informational texts also include graphic features, and graphic features are visuals such as diagrams, illustrations, graphs, charts, maps, and timelines that help explain ideas in a text. So, right now, we're going to focus mostly on timelines, which is when we have a number line that is listed in chronological order, and they'll tell us events that happened at specific key moments in history. And diagrams. So, a diagram is when you have an illustration or a picture or a photograph or an image that shows us different parts so that we can really understand what it's like, even if we haven't touched or seen something before. What I'd like you to have in front of you right now is your Into Reading book opened to page 86 and 87 and a pencil. We're going to read the text, Many Ways to Tell a Story Together. So, right now, we're going to look at paragraph 1, and we're going to be thinking about all of the different ways the author is telling us in this informational text that people can tell stories to one another. So, right now, I'm looking at paragraph 1. Most of us think of books and prose when we think of stories, but a great story can come in many other forms too. Myths and fables, plays, movies, poems, and even songs. For a person who loves stories, they can be found nearly anywhere, and there are countless ways in which to enjoy them and to share them with others. So, what I'd like you to do right now is you're going to look at page 86 and you're going to try and decide, why did the author include this image? So this is a picture that's being used as a graphic feature to help us understand some things. So on the side where you have your notes spot, you're going to jot down some ideas of what are some things that you see in that picture that might tell you more about what this text is going to be all about. Paragraph 2. So, what I'd like you to do right now is on page 87, you're going to circle or star all of the subheadings as we read them. So, I want you to really think, why do you think that the author included these subheadings? What will it tell us about the text as we're reading it? So, I'm at the top of page 87. Digital formats. Have you ever read a book? Let's try that again. Have you ever read an ebook on a tablet computer or a story on a website? If so, you probably know that digital formats sometimes offer features you won't find in a printed book. You might be able to select a name or place and be taken to a website with extra information, pictures, or videos about it. Some ebooks even have multimedia embedded within them, like music the author wants readers to listen to during certain scenes or chapters. Movies, television, and plays. People adore stories in the forms of movies, TV shows, and plays. These formats bring characters, dialogue, setting, and even events to life. They often feature music that supports the mood of story scenes, especially the story's climax. But many people still prefer that special feeling of sitting down with a good printed book. Books allow readers to use their imaginations. They also allow authors to show more of what characters are thinking than a typical play or film would. There's almost unlimited room for the author to provide readers with descriptions and background information. Often, this kind of information is provided in a foreword at the beginning of the book, but some books it can be found throughout. Music and other art forms. Is it hard to imagine telling a story through dance? Think about famous ballets such as the Nutcracker. Like plays, many ballet productions feature characters and events. They use costumes, scenery, and music to help bring a story to life. You can probably think of several songs that tell stories all on their own, too. Such a song might not include dialogue, but it will include characters and events. The music and the singer's voice help set the mood and convey a meaning. A symphony called Peter and the Wolf tells a whole fairy tale through music. The musicians' instruments play the roles of story characters. Some paintings and other artworks tell stories as well. The Bayeux Tapestry is an embroidered cloth created hundreds of years ago. It tells the story of a battle for control of England. Some native people of the Pacific Northwest carved totem poles that feature characters and events from their cultures, myths, and legends. What kind of storytelling form is your favorite? So, when we're looking at the picture on page 87, I want you to think about, why did the author include that image? How does that help us understand storytelling in a different way?